Um, what other fan vids, AMVs did I make in my first year in making fan vids and AMVs? Oh, I made, like I said, I made a lot of other ones besides Sonic. In fact, there was one that I made, and just like with Sonic and the Time and Rescue Rangers, I only had limited footage on them. I did one on the Ninja Turtles, the original Ninja Turtles, during the final years on CBS, and I used Total Power on that one, so that was one of them. I made, I'm not sure if I made I made some Rescue Ranger ones, I know that. I made a Rescue Ranger one called Sacrifice. I made that one by Creed with the song My Sacrifice. The reason I started making that kind of video and then one along with Gummy Bears was the fact that I'm a wrestling fan. I used to watch WWE, and I watched WWE, and back then WWE had this thing going in 2001 and even up to 2004 where they would play like a montage video to Creed's My Sacrifice song. And I thought to myself, that sounds interesting. And I remember that, and I thought, that would be really interesting to do something like that for something like Rescue Rangers and Gummy Bears, and that's what I did. I started making those kind of videos. And later on, I started making some other videos as well. As a matter of fact, I made a video on the Lionhearts, which was a short-lived MGM cartoon that aired on the weekend. And one of the songs that I used at the end of 2004 was Holler. I'd actually done a few others before this too, and that was through and these were all through ULED, I believe. And the first two that I did were sort of like Desire videos, because just like I said with My Sacrifice, when I did the videos with the My Sacrifice song, WWE also did montages called Desire, and that's how they would put the My Sacrifice montage together. So I said, I'm going to use something different instead of My Sacrifice on them. So I used Van Halen's Dreams, and another one I used was Anytime You Need a Friend by Mariah Carey. And I thought to myself, okay, those are all good and everything, but I only have limited footage. And then I remembered, again, my friend Rachel, Rafaela. I paid her, I don't know what I paid her, I can't really remember, it doesn't really matter. But I paid her to do some VCDs on the Lionhearts. So I sent her, I think I sent her my Lionheart VHS or a copy of it or something, I can't really remember. And she sent back, I don't know how many VCDs of the Lionhearts, but she sent back enough to the point that I was finally able to make a new video called with the song Holler by Baha Men. And that song, and the video I made just really blew me away from what I saw. I was like, wow, this is really unbelievable. And there were some other videos I made in between, the Desire ones and Holler. I had made one called Right Back Where We Belong, which was a remake of a 70s song done by Cleopatra, which was featured in an Extremely Goofy movie. I had done one called This Must Be Love by, I can't even think what that group's name is right now. Innocence, that's the one. And I found that, and I got that song off of a movie I didn't even know about until I watched it, called The Millionaire Dogs. So that was, that's the other kind of videos I made besides Sonic and Rescue Ranger. I made those other kind of videos as well. So throughout 2004, going into 2005, those are the kind of videos I started making. And before you knew it, a lot of people were enjoying them. What was 2005 like for me when it came to the videos? For making fan vids and all that? Well, that was interesting. I made more fan vids during the year. I made some on the SAT-AM, a lot on SAT-AM. I made some on Sonic X, I think towards the end of 2005 or something. I can't really remember. Actually, I did some Sonic X in 2004, so, but again, I started really making more of those in 2005. I just made a lot of other videos. In fact, I even did what I call some variety videos at the time. I started doing videos on Tailspin, believe it or not. I started doing videos on Bonkers, and I continued, like I said, my videos on Sonic SAT-AM. I continued my videos on Gummy Bears and Rescue Rangers and things like that. It was a really interesting year, and I remember there were a couple of videos I did collaborations. Well, I didn't collaborate. I mean, I did some kind of I collaborated two shows together as one video. Some of these I called my own. I called my Disney Sweetheart videos, believe it or not, or romance videos. Because I remember Disney had the DTV back in the day, and I remember they had a special for Valentine's Day, and I thought to myself, and I also for Valentine's Day, and I also saw these VHS and DVDs on sale around called Sweethearts, and I thought to myself, that would be a good thing for me. That would be something nice to call my videos, the Sweetheart video. And I did videos on, that collaborated the Rescue Rangers and Gummy Bears and Bonkers into one video, and some of the songs I used were "Why Don't You Kiss Her" by Jesse McCartney, "It's For You," which was the ending wedding song in Saved by the Bell, the wedding movie, or Wedding in Las Vegas, and another one was "Could It Be You" by another young Disney artist, and there were a few others. But yeah, 2005 was interesting, and I just continued on with a lot of my videos. I did some good ones. I did a video called One, which was based off the Blast of the Past miniseries, as well as the Void, which was, in my opinion, the prelude to the Doomsday Saga. And to me, that actually turned out to be a good video. I did Bunny's Rock and Roll, which was basically Bunny's Rock and Roll was a video dedicated to Bunny. And basically I used Trish Stratus, who's a former WWE diva. I used her theme song called "Time to Rock and Roll," her theme music, and people loved it. When they finally saw it, they loved it. And then I did one for Princess Sally called "I'm Not a Girl, I'm Not Yet a Woman," and "All Grown Up," which was Stephanie McMahon's theme, and the song before that was by Britney. I did one for Tails called "Crossing Borders," and then I did another one later on called "Burning My Light." I'll talk about that later. And I did one for Antron called "Dare to Be Stupid," which everybody knows that song by Weird Al from the Transformers. And in Sonic, I tried to do one called with Triple H's "The Game," and unfortunately, and that turned out pretty good. But when it finally got seen by people, it got taken off certain sites because I used some of the Triple H's Titantron, if you will. I don't know how people get that, but some of his Titantron scenes in the video instead of just making it all about Sonic. But anyway, that's mainly what 2005 was like for me. I just did those videos off and on, and people loved them. And yeah, that's really all I could say about how 2005 was for me.